Once again, UFC Canada is garbage. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the predictions and breakdowns. Today we have UFC 315 Bilal Muhammad versus Della Maddalena, which is taking place on May the 10th, 2025, the Saturday at 6:30 p.m. EST. It is a decently picked card, but Jesus is underwhelming for a Canadian card. The tickets are only 50% sold out. It is not as stacked as you'd like to see it for a numbered card. This kind of feels like a fight night, kind of feels like Canadian fans get screwed again. It's quite unfortunate. Again, I did not have the breakdown for last week's card out yet. I have not been able to watch the full card in entirety. I've been working. I did have my buddy's birthday. I didn't have the live stream for that week. It's unfortunate, but we will have this week's live stream back, and we will continue to not miss another one for the next months coming if we can help it. Now, we're going to start off with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving full predictions and breakdowns. Let's get down and dirty. We first off, starting with the prelim opener of Brad Katona versus Bekzat Almakhan. I'm more leaning to the side of Bekzat. The reason being is that he showed a lot of tentativeness against Umar Nurmagomedov, who arguably could be the champion right now. He did break his hand, I believe, in the fight with Merab Dvalishvili. It is an unfortunate turn of events, but Almakhan or whatever, I'm going to say Bekzat. Bekzat has shown time and time again in Octagon, in in his amateur debut and stuff like that. He's a really, really good finisher. He has high-level striking, and Brad Katona is a very, very durable guy. I'm not expecting him to get chinned here. It is very, very possible that he does get put down here against a guy like Brad Katona, who does get clipped a couple times, inside of his fights. He does continue to walk forward, but he has been clipped before. Garrett Onfield clipped him okay. John Matsumoto was okay in the first round, started to fall apart inside the later stages of the fight. Let's make my camera a little bit bigger here. But you have Bekzat, who's just... he's so good everywhere. He was able to just... He went the distance with Umar. He was showing a lot of his mix-up ability. He did look half decent, in my opinion. It's just... the bigger question becomes, are you able to deal with the pressure? Are you able to show up? Are you able to, really, impose your game plan on a guy like Brad Katona, who's been around the fight game for so long, been in the UFC 2 stints, been in the Ultimate Fighter, twice? He's won it twice, if I'm not mistaken. That's a big deal, man. That's a guy who's come from adversity and come back, and he has such good mixed martial arts just in general. Katona, he's just so phenomenal when you watch him fight. He's one of those guys from Canada that I really, really look up to in general when it comes to MMA fighters from Canada. He's a very, very highly respected guy, and I think Superman is going to put up a good fight, but I think Bekzat's just a little bit better. I think his striking's a little bit better. I think he's going to be able to outpoint Katona on damage, maybe leaving a cut or something, especially with his high-level kickboxing and Muay Thai. I'm going to go with Bekzat Almakhan. Next on the prelims, Daniel Santos versus Young Lee. Now, I would like to pick Young Lee. I can't because his best win is Blake Builder, and Blake Builder's kind of trash. I don't rate him highly whatsoever. Yiza also in a split decision, and again, you're looking at a guy coming from road to UFC. He got in a firefight with Hyder Emil, just gets put out right away. Daniel Santos, high level, mix-up capability, takes out John Castaneda with a perfectly timed knee. Beautiful. Castaneda never gets knocked out. Unfortunately, lost to Julio Arce, but Arce is just one of those guys that is never going to, find a way out. He's always going to try and fucking pressure you. I'm going to have to give the side of Daniel Santos here. I think he's just a little bit better than Jung. I think Jung probably should have stayed in road to UFC a little bit longer. I think he needed a little bit more... or maybe not road to UFC, since that's kind of a Daniel White Contender Series situation. I think he should have stayed in regional a little bit longer. I think he needs a little bit more time to develop his technique. He does have really, really good range. That could really be a big benefit here in this fight. He does have 6 inches of reach. Daniel Santos is going to be looking to get in the pocket and try and strike with him. Man, it's just so hard because Daniel Santos does really well against decent grapplers, and when he fights guys who are high level strikers, he just doesn't really do the same. He doesn't put out the same type of output. But I think Young Lee is just one of those guys that he kind of only has the knockouts because the guys he's been fighting are just kind of low level. I think Daniel Santos gets it done. I think Daniel Santos has the better grappling as well. I think that the takedowns would be very beneficial. I think Jung is very big, maybe going to be able to post up a hit, but I think Daniel Santos just high level in the grappling, always going to be 2 steps ahead, always going to be able to put together something. And I think in the striking as well, Lee, when it comes to distance, I think he starts falling apart a little bit later. Daniel Santos has been around for a while. I think he's going to be able to get it done. Been around since 2022. And Lee has had about the same amount of fights since being in the UFC in 2023. But I do think Daniel Santos gets it done. Just a better experienced fighter in general. Higher level of mixed martial arts. And I think the grappling is going to play a big play. But look for I mean, realistically, the jab of Lee is going to be there. He does have 6 inches of reach. But I don't think it's going to be enough to win the fight. I think Lee's a little bit too tentative sometimes. I mean, when he gets in a dogfight, he gets clipped. So I think he's going to be a little bit more tentative since that knockout by Haider Emil. Now, next on the prelims, we have a very interesting fight in Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. I'm picking the side of Bruno Silva. Marc-Andre Barriault being knocked out by Dustin Stoltzfus is enough for me not to pick him ever again. I did say I would never be picking him again. He did get knocked out by Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer, very, very powerful, so you can see it coming. But Dustin Stoltzfus, like, come on, bro. What are we doing here? This guy is, like, fucking a grappler essentially, and he's able to just chin Mark running in on him. Very, very sad to see, but I do like Bruno Silva here. He's very, very durable, very high level striking. I do think he gets a knockout of Marc-Andre Barriault. I think this is a perfect situation for him. I think he's going to look better than he has in most of his fights. He did fight almost 5 times in the last year and a half. I do think the activity is good for him. I think Marc-Andre Barriault is kind of on his way out. He is getting a little bit older, 35 years of age. Bruno Silva being 35 himself. Looks a little bit worse for wear. He does look a little bit slow in his fights, but I think against Marc-Andre Barriault, it's one of those guys that is a kind of a can as well. You know, Marc-Andre only winning against the Cuban Missile Crisis, Eric Anders, you know, Jordan Wright, you know, Dalish Luguimbula, who's just fucking horrendous. This dude is absolutely trash. Abu Azatar, you know, like just not very, very high level guys. I think Marc-Andre Barriault gets chinned here. Bruno Silva gets finally a win in the win column after a long 2 years. And I think it's good matchmaking. Realistically, I think this fight makes sense. It's unfortunate for Barriault to get kicked out of the UFC after this, but I think Silva chins him, puts him out, and we see Barriault move on. Next on the prelims, Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. Now, if Ivan Erslan somehow beats Navajo Sterling, I'm going to bash my head in the floor. Ion Cutelaba won a terrible-looking split decision against Ivan Erslan. Now, Ion Cutelaba is one of the worst-looking fucking light heavyweights I've seen in recent years. And Ivan Erslan lost a split decision to him. Just no explosivity whatsoever after the first round. If you can't get it done, it's over. I'm going to say Navajo Sterling by round 2 KO. I don't think Ivan has anything in it. And Navajo did get clipped by Tuco, but it's not one of those situations where you really need to stress. I think Sterling showed that he is very durable. I think he's always able to come back from fights. I think he's able to mix it up and, you know, kind of take it to another level when he's fighting guys near the same level as him. And I think Ivan Erslan is just not the same level as him. I think he's so far behind that he can't even catch up if he's sprinting. Navajo Sterling by round 2 knockout. It's not even close. Now, next on the prelims, Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba. Look who I was just talking about the devil. Modestas Bukauskas is going to be probably one of my locks of the week. Fuck Ion Cutelaba. The very, very good kickboxing of Modestas Bukauskas is going to win him this fight. If he passes round 1, Ivan Erslan wins. Or Ivan Erslan? Jesus Christ. Ibo Aslan is what I was reading, and then I'm just losing my mind here. Ion Cutelaba can only win inside the first round, but Bukauskas will win after round 1, for sure. Rounds 2 and 3 will go to Bukauskas no matter what. Ion Cutelaba doesn't really have a whole lot of gas, and when it really comes down to it, Bukauskas was a high-level kickboxer, high-level mixed martial artist. I think, realistically, he's going to be able to just push forward, use the kickboxing on the legs of Cutelaba, and just kind of just slowly pick him apart before he chins him and puts him down. I think Ion Cutelaba is, again, one of the worst light heavyweights I've ever seen in my fucking life. I think he's absolutely horrendous. I think Bukauskas is going to look good here. I think he's going to be one of the better looking guys of the night. He was able to put out Rafael Sequeira when it really came down to it inside the first round, just able to put him out. Nothing going for him inside that first round for Sakara. It was just all Bukauskas. And I think it's going to be similar. I think Ion Cutelaba just doesn't have the stand-up capability to stand with Bukauskas. I think it's a huge problem for him. I think this is an easy fight for Modestas, to be completely honest. I think it's going to be quite the show, and I think it's going to be at least under 1.5 rounds by knockout for Bukauskas. I think Cutelaba is just kind of terrible. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything more. I'm just going to keep calling him trash and just get pissed off because he loses to the fucking, like Felipe Lins. He loses to Lins, and then he just beats Ursuline to a split decision. Beats Ibo Oslan, which doesn't even make sense. Like, she really shouldn't have, but whatever. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Next on the prelims, Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasudavicius. We're going Jasmine. Jasmine is going to be able to just impose her game plan on Andrade. Andrade has a huge problem with girls that have good grappling. She doesn't really do too well with it. She doesn't get up quite often. Usually when she gets put down, it's kind of over. That's all that's happening. She's not going to get back up. She just kind of sits there, tries to post a hip, tries to push on the leg. It never is enough. It seems as though Andrade does not drill this position all too often. And Jasmine Jasudavicius is not a girl you want to be in mount or in half guard or whatever on you. She's so good on the ground and so good in those positions that it's such a problem for girls that they just forcibly will do whatever it takes to not get back into that position. And that's where Jasmine flows with some decent strikes and decent clinch work before she drags you back to the ground again. Andrade is kind of on her way out. She's had her tenure inside the UFC. The game is changing rapidly. The girls that she's facing are getting higher and higher level. She only beat Mackenzie Dern because Dern just kind of gassed from the constant takedown attempts. Marina Rodriguez, showed very, very clear holes in her game when it came to clinch work and grappling. She just can't deal with the grappling whatsoever, and Jessica was using trips and stuff and just trying to beat her up for the split decision. Natalia Silva was able to just roll over her, and that's kind of what I feel like is going to happen here. Jasmine is just so good in the grappling, 6 inches of reach. Andrade is going to be on the end of everything. Now, the power of Andrade is really there, but Jasudavicius is just so, like, she's just so trained forward. Like, just go, 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 and I think that's where all of it flows for her. I think that's where she's going to win the fight, and I think she's just going to win it with just pressure. I think Andrade is going to just be in too much pressure on the back foot, not doing enough to win the fight. Jasudavicius probably by decision. Now we're going to move on next to the top of the prelims. This is a fight I've been thinking about all week. It's literally been in my dreams. It's been when I'm in the shower before work in the morning. Mike Malott is taking on Charles Radke. Now, I almost never go against Canadian fighters, especially when they're favorites, especially when they get marketed as high and as tight as Mike Malott. Now, I'm going to pick Charles Radke. Now, we all saw the Carlos Prates knockout. Pretty bad. It's not good. It's not a good look, but you saw the Gilbert Urbina knockout. You saw the Matthew Semmelsberger very, 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 very quick knockout. Semmelsberger was a little bit tentative on that. That's understandable, but, dude, Mike Malott almost lost to Mickey Gall. That's real. That's real shit. Go look at the fight against Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall literally cracked Mike Malott multiple times. Mickey Gall is barely a fighter. Barely. He's 7-7. Fought some of the fucking worst in the division. Fought some of the best in the division. Never was able to beat the best in the division. I mean, beat up Sage Northcutt, choked him out. Jordan Williams, terrible. You're not fighting these high level guys. Alex Morono lost of decision. Mike Malott gets knocked out. Basile Hafez decision. Ramiz Brahima knocks him out. Dude. Like, Mike Malott almost got chinned by fucking Mickey Gall. That is real shit. And it's not like his Contender Series debut was fucking hard. Shimon Shkomowski or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, man, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this. I'm going with Charles Radke. I just think his power is there. I think Mike Malott's been clipped too many times inside the first round. I think he's really, really open to getting busted up here. And I don't think Charles Radke, when he busts him up, is going to get into a firefight. I think he's going to just let it flow. And I think Mike Malott's going to have a big problem. I think he's going to get put down and out. I think he's going to be a round 1 or round 2, maybe under 1.5 round KO for Charles Radke. I think Chuck Buffalo is going to be able to put it together. I think when it comes to the hype of Mike Malott inside Quebec. I think Charles is going to feed off it. Realistically, I think he's just going to march down Malott. I think the striking capabilities of Charles Radke are very, very high, and I think when it really comes down to it, Mike Malott is going to need a takedown to do anything to Charles Radke, and Radke is really good at wrestling. Really good at wrestling, excuse me. If I could finish all the words that I talk. Yeah, I would just look for Charles Radke here. It really seems like this is a time for him to shine. I like Mike Malott. I do. It's just, dude, the Neil Magny loss, like, you gave up kind of in the end. Trevin Giles, you should have been able to knock him out realistically, or at least put something together. I think Charles Radke is better than anyone he's ever faced other than Neil Magny. I think he gets it done and puts it together. Now, we're going to move on to the main event of the evening, or main card. We're gassed, we're tired, we're whatever. We're going to move on to the main card of the evening. If you guys did enjoy this so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. We have Benoit, the God of War, Saint Denis versus Kyle Propolek. Now, Propolek, I think I've actually heard of this guy before. Unified, right? And he was in the UFC before, yes. He did fight on the main event inside, it was Alberta for Unified. I thought it was Toronto. Now, listen. Listen. Okay. I'm not picking Kyle Propolek. Okay, we're picking Benoit Saint Denis to absolutely fucking torch this guy. But there is a chance that Propolek does go to a decision. There also is a chance that Benoit Saint Denis is kind of a fraud. He was able to beat Gabriel Miranda, whoop-de fucking do. Ismail Bonfim, which clearly is not that big of a fucking thing anymore because Nazim Sadikov got him down after the first round. Thiago Moises, who's just old as shit. Oh, wait, what? Moises is only 30? Okay, well, Moises is just not that great. When I watch him fight, it's kind of rough. The grappling is intense, but whenever he doesn't get the grappling, he kind of falls apart. Loses to Dustin Poirier. Loses to Renato Moicano. If Kyle Propolek is able to take this dude down and beat the shit out of him, I don't know, dude. That's kind of insane. I really don't know. So I'm really trying to... maybe I should talk about how I'm thinking. I'm thinking of all the situations I could see where Kyle Propolek wins, and there's not one that I see. And I'm thinking about all the situations. Even though Benoit has not fought that high level of guys, there's just no way I see Kyle Propolek winning this fight. Like, seriously, there's just none. I'm just going to go Benoit Saint Denis by whatever he wants. If he wants a knockout, he can get it. If he wants a submission, he can probably get it. If he wants to just decision him, pit for pat, he'll probably get that too because Kyle's pretty strong. But it just seems in this situation, Propolek on short notice, Benoit Saint Denis grinding for a fight, trying to get back in the win column. They're giving him this fight after fucking 7 months off. Kind of feels like a layup. Kind of feels like Benoit Saint Denis is getting this done, even though they're just trying to feed him to Alvarez. But I think I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis to get it done by whatever he wants. Next on the main card, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. By the way, more or less the pick of this is the UFC is different. Get fucking ready, Kyle, because I don't think you're ready. Next on the main card, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. Now, people are picking Natalia Silva after the piss-poor performance against Valentina Shevchenko the third time and second time out. The grappling and the tie trips were very, very big and a very, very big indicator that Alexa Grasso is not going to be able to do anything. Now, Alexa Grasso has also shown time and time again, Carla Esparza, Tatiana Suarez, she cannot grapple. She beat Macy fucking Barber, she beat Joanne Wood, and she beat Viviana Rougeau, and they said, all right, there's no one else. Give her the title shot. And she just got lucky with a rear naked choke and sent the fourth round. Now, Natalia Silva is next level grappling. She's got nasty submissions. She's got nasty kicks. She's got nasty Muay Thai. She's got nasty elbows on the ground. She's got nasty everything, okay? She beat up Jessica Andrade, beat up Viviana Rougeau, the same chick that fucking Alexa did. Beat up Andrea Lee, who's just absolutely horrendous. Finally knocked out Victoria Leonardo, who I think that was one of the other ones. Yeah, that was another one. Beat up Teresa Belda, who actually is kind of half good, but we're going to ignore her for now. Alexa Grasso, I think is going to get exposed here again. I think Natalia Silva is just a little bit better. I think the grappling here is going to play a huge part. Alexa Grasso kind of gives up when she gets put on her back. Doesn't move as well. Doesn't move with urgency. Doesn't move like she is going to lose the fight. Moves like she has another 10 rounds to fucking play. You have 5, you have 3, whatever it is, and you're going to have 3 against this girl who just wants to maul you. We're going to go with Natalia Silva. I think Alexa Grasso as an underdog is a good pick, but I do think the striking advantage is on Silva. I do think the grappling advantage is on Silva, and I do think the clinch advantage is on Silva. So I can't pick Alexa Grasso confidently. We're going to go with Natalia Silva via decision. Next on the main card, Jose Aldo versus Amin Zahabi. I want to pick Amin Zahabi really, really bad. He's both improved in every single fight that he's ever fought so far in the last 3 years. Improved heavily, by the way. If you go back and look at just his last 3 fights, the one against Pedro Munoz, the one against Yavid Basharat, Arichilong knocking him out. Dude, he actually is improving at a rapid rate. Now, you're kind of fighting the greatest bantamweight of all time. Like, what are we doing here? You feel me? Like, our greatest lightweight of all time, I guess, right? Yeah, excuse me. One of the greatest lightweights of all time. Dude, this is a different level. The kickboxing is a different level. Amin Zahabi is going to need to utilize that grappling the same way that Mario Batista did. Batista, I don't think, won that fight, but he did win it in some judges' scorecards, so Amin Zahabi could do the same thing. Coming out of TriStar, Amin Zahabi has a lot of backing behind him, a lot of fantastic coaches behind him, including his brother, Faraz. I love Amin. I watch his YouTube. I fucking love messaging him on the stream. I like talking to him. I like seeing that he talks openly about his training, and he always goes. He has a family. He keeps his family involved in his fight game and his fight stuff online. I just think in this situation, Jose Aldo is a little bit more tenured, a little bit more experienced, and I think it's going to be a bit of a wake-up call for Zahabi to start training with some better guys, some higher-level guys, some guys, bring some legends in, see what we can do, see what else we can get and put together. I think Jose Aldo here gets it done via decision. I think he's just better than where Zahabi is right now. I do think Zahabi can still make a run at it. He's only 37 years of age, has maybe another 2 years left at 135. But we're going to go with Jose Aldo, yeah, for sure. I just... You can't go away from Aldo, especially after that last fight. Arguably beat Mario. Consistent takedown defense against Merab, and if he's getting takedown defense on Merab, Amin's not getting him down, so that's a big problem. Now we're gonna move on to co-main event of the evening: Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. We're going Valentina Shevchenko. She was an underdog earlier in the week. Manon Fiorot was the favorite. I'm not sure why, because Valentina Shevchenko has proven time and time again she is the best flyweight on earth. She has been the best flyweight probably consistently for over the last 5 to 6 years. And sorry, I'm saying a lot, but it's just I'm trying to find the words here without letting my fucking throat give away on me here. Manon Fiorot is a very good kickboxer. She's got nasty Muay Thai. This girl's fucking mean too. She hits elbows and beats the shit out of girls like nothing. Tabitha Ricci knocked her out standing. But Shevchenko is just so much better. She's so much more complete. She literally is the first UFC champion to complete all of the rubies on her fucking belt, and I think she's gonna get another one here. I think Manon Fiorot is good, but not good enough. I think we're gonna see Valentina Shevchenko reign for a couple more years. I think she has a couple more years left at least in the tank. Dude, and that's just at 125. Maybe move up to 135 when she gets a little bit older and she moves a little bit better. I'm not sure. Manon Fiorot, though, not from Nice, France, not nice enough. She's going to lose by decision or by knockout probably. Let's go Valentina Shevchenko. Now we're going to move on. Main event of the evening. Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. If you guys did enjoy this so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already now. There's two big things when it comes to this. There's two big ones. One, the grappling is so heavily favored on the side of Bilal Muhammad that it's not even funny. It's not. It's really not. Like, Jack Della Maddalena was very, very clearly in the shit when he was on his back against Gilbert Burns. Had to force himself up inside the later stages of that fight, as we all know. and get back up and win via round 3 KO. Uh, Dude, like, it's close. It's been close a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie. It's been really close with Jack. He's been on a good run. I do think Bilal, though, gets it done. I do think Bilal will still be champion. I think he's just so good at welterweight. He's so complete. The grappling is so intense. The pressure is so intense that Jack Della Maddalena isn't really going to have a whole lot of places to go. His boxing is some of the crispest you've ever seen in the UFC, and if you were going to bet any of the underdogs in the entire night, I would be betting Jack Della Maddalena. He is just that guy. He could figure it out. He's one of those guys that really just figures it out whenever that he fights. He's usually able to figure it out in late stages. He usually figures the boxing combinations out quite well inside intense situations. And I think that's a good thing for Jack Della Maddalena in this fight. I think against Bilal Muhammad, you need to have some slick boxing. You need to have some good body work. Try and rip some stuff to Bilal so that he slows down and isn't able to consistently pressure you. Maybe some good knees to the body in the clinch. Maybe Bilal gets clipped and maybe you're able to push him off of you and just trying to walk him down. But I think Bilal Muhammad gets it done via decision, via long grappling fest. It will be boring. It might be a showstopper for Jack Della Maddalena. We don't know. We really don't. I do think, though, the more complete fighter is Bilal. He has been around longer. He does have more experience. He is just the better fighter. Realistically, on paper as well, he's the better fighter, and I do think he gets it done. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe like I have said 3 times in this video already. I will check you guys out tomorrow for the best bets, of course. And I will make sure I get that breakdown and a recap done for the last week's card when I finally watch it, either today or tomorrow. Today being the 8th, seeing as it is over midnight now. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure, make sure to check out the video tomorrow. There we go. I was losing my English there for a second. I'll talk to you guys a little later. Peace.